Okay, you are live.
Hey everybody, Chelsea Bracestead here with NOLA.com and the Times-Picayune. We are live in front of the P.G.T. Beauregard Monument. This is one that has been slated for removal, and all signs point to it coming down tonight in New Orleans. We are here on the bridge, the Esplanade Bridge, that sort of crosses over Bayou St. John, headed toward NOMA. And just to, I guess, your left, just off to the side, there is a really large crane. It's behind, there's a tree. You can't really see it right now, but it just pulled up with a police detail surrounding it. So we are here all night. We're going to stay live, keep bringing you guys updates. There's no telling exactly when or how this could go down. There's several dozen protesters on both sides of the issue. We've had a couple shouting matches, but nothing too severe so far. Hoping it stays pretty peaceful, so we are going to just stay live here and bring you guys updates all night long.
Great. All right. So we're going to just take you guys around a little bit. It's very dark, but as you can see, there's crowds of protesters. They're mostly divided, as far as we can tell, by the pro monument right in front of me, and then off to this side is the pro removal team side, it looks like. Anyways, we're gonna kind of run back over here, give you guys a full view. We've had hints of activity, as we said, so bear with us as we kind of get you attached to the tripod.
We're doing the show live.
Okay.
I'm just doing a live show at 10 too.
That would be a pretty safe bet.
Okay. So if you guys are just tuning in, like we said earlier, my name's Emma Scott. We have Chelsea Bracestead here as well. We will be here all evening. We are on the bridge just across from the P.G.T. Beauregard Monument, and it is slated for removal. It will be the third of 4 monuments in New Orleans that are supposed to come down, and we have received no truly official word that this is happening tonight, but the bridge is blocked off. There are, I guess there is a good crowd that's kind of developed behind us, and there are police on the scene.
The entire area is really blocked off. If you're approaching, basically both, either if you're coming from Wisner or from the, I guess, uptown side toward like down Carrollton and City Park Avenue, that's blocked off. And I walked up from behind NOMA earlier tonight, and the officers were already, there was mounted officers on horseback pretty much between the monument and NOMA, sending any pedestrians or cars back the other direction. So everything's pretty well locked down, and they're not letting anybody through unless they are here on scene tonight for official purposes.
Yeah. So one thing that's kind of interesting about this monument in particular is that the understanding of what land it's on is a little bit mushy. So there's been a bit of a debate this week where someone, I believe, filed suit to try and keep it from being removed, saying that it was actually on City Park's land. And did they go back to court today as well?
Yeah.
But I mean, as far as we've heard, nothing that has happened there
is going to stop anything.
Is going to influence what's going on here. And it certainly, from all of the visual cues, it doesn't seem like it's going to have an impact on what's going to happen here tonight. So right now, you know, I can talk from experience about being at Jeff Davis last, I believe it was Thursday morning, that we'd kind of received words that things would start up around midnight, and there was a much bigger crowd on both sides outside of Jeff Davis. That's, you know, it's at the intersection of Jeff Davis and Canal, and there's a bar there, and there were really a lot of people kind of gathered for both sides. It seemed like there were more pro take the monument down folks than pro monument folks. But tonight, the crowds in general are just much, much smaller so far, which is kind of interesting to me because it is, it's 8 p.m. It's a much different hour. And last week they really didn't get started. I don't think we saw any activity until about 2:30, which is when they started to fence things off and move the crowds around. And they really were much better prepared, it seems, tonight. They had a press pen for us ahead of time, which is something that they seemed to create last time. Sort of on the fly, and they've already got everything closed off, which they really didn't last time. Again, it seemed like people had heard 8 p.m., but there's clearly no movement yet. There just are crowds of people, and police have gathered and are kind of guarding the monument both up close and from all sides. We saw a crane probably about 10 minutes ago roll up, but it's out of scene right now. So yeah, just kind of stay with us. This is going to be, if we take anything from the Jeff Davis and the Liberty Place removals, it's really a long process. They have to be really careful with the statues because they are trying to preserve them, and it's really going to take a long time. So we're going to be here all night. We may not be this chatty the whole time, but we will be here. If you have any questions, throw them in the comments. We'll try to get to you guys, and we'll just try to give you a good, understanding of what we're looking at, what we're seeing, what the scene really looks like as it changes.
I'm on a different.
text I just got from Todd. Ordered a drink, actually, not on the clock.
Oh. Oh yeah. Hey, very good. How's it going? Yeah. Sorry about that.
It makes 2 for 2 that they've screwed up my son's graduation. So last time, when he graduated right here, and it was the day they said, oh, we're going to videos week. So I was wondering why his dad was not happy. But anyway.
Those and I haven't celebrated either of our birthdays together for like 4 years. Makes you feel any better.
Well, he didn't want to do too much after anyway. There.
Oh.
Which 60?
Well, congrats.
No,
He looks great.
That's high school stuff.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
oh my god, how handsome.
He is handsome, but poor kid. Took this gorgeous girl to she's a model, took her to prom. An actual model, like Esquire. She's a wedding dress model. It's like, let's see if I can. I sent him.
Here's
Oh.
Yeah, but they went to dinner. Really lovely massage. My wife's like, but they're not obligated. No,
it's not, you just would think that it had gone well enough that
it
like...
did go well enough, and they're friends, and they've known each other a long time. So he's really
So, favorite reference?
Okay, so as you guys can see, what's just come into the frame is that we've got a budget truck, which is, you know, looks like the exact same setup as they had last time. We've definitely got some movement here. We started at like 2:20, and that happened at like 10, right? So an hour and a half. Wasn't it?
But the photo starts.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So we're gonna get you guys a little bit closer. You can see the truck is moving in. Yeah, right there.
They turn those lights off. It's actually really hard to see.
I'm sure they will.
There's like one person in black and there's something else. See that? I'm sure that they are, but we can get Democker to look through his. Alright, so we've got a second truck pulling up here, guys, and this looks like let's see, what is that? That looks like a cherry picker coming up. So the one on your left is the crane, and the one circling around the right looks like the cherry picker. Doing a time lapse. Cool.
I figured I'd try it. Do something different.
This is the third of 4 monuments to come down. This is P.G.T. Beauregard.
I have some notes and I meant to read one, but let's see how that. Okay, tell me what you think of this. Does it look slightly backwards?
You mean,
Like, I know he's not directly in
I
the
don't
center.
think it does because it's because you're coming at this line from an angle.
I just can't have those lights in it, which is why I have to stop it. Why he's not
Yeah.
perfectly in the
I
center.
mean, well, look at the line of NOLA. Looks to me like it's got
yeah, that does.
Okay, great. Okay, so we've got a couple of people coming in from the right-hand side. They're dragging looks like a giant yellow strap, similar to the one that I think was used for Jeff Davis, but quite a bit bigger.
Yeah, this is significantly bigger. And if any of you guys watched the Jeff Davis Facebook Live, you'll remember that they had this kind of green, like almost plastic wrap, bubble wrap that they used. And they wrapped the statue with that first. And then they put the strap around that, so it was clear that they were kind of going to lengths to protect the statue. Last time we talked a lot about the center of gravity of the statue and how important that is when the crane lifts it. This is significantly bigger because it is a whole horse. So I imagine, I actually, to be completely honest, haven't heard about this yet, but I know that for the Jeff Davis one, they were out ahead of time measuring it, kind of doing some calculations to make sure that they knew in advance where the center of gravity really was. And we can see now that someone just got out and they have a flashlight and they're putting it onto the statue, and here comes the crane. So
Can you two get closer?
I can't get it. You try.
Okay, I could. It's just not centered. That's fine.
So I have to say, just from, the viewer's perspective, this is, I don't want to jinx us because I'm sure we'll be here for a very long time regardless, but this just seems
Pretty well orchestrated.
Yeah, it really does, especially from the reports that I heard from the first one, which was the Liberty Place, and then from the Jeff Davis one, which I was at for the entire time. And that one, you got the sense that they were really kind of making changes as things were happening, and they had a really hard time actually, once the statue was on the ground, packaging it and getting it into a crate to put on a flatbed truck. So, but the fact that we're already I'm seeing at least one person who's behind this truck that is flashing its bright lights right at us. But I'm already seeing someone in a cherry picker. That's a pretty good indication that there's going to be action really soon. Now we do have 5 mounted police standing in front of us right now.
Which is probably a good time to say that the crowd behind us hasn't really grown at all. We've had some people go, some people come. We've got several protesters on both sides of whether or not they want the monument taken down. A couple with coolers. We've got a lot of neighbors that bring out their drinks, sit, see what's going on. A couple folks actually have coolers, and they seem to be sitting here for the long haul, some lawn chairs. A few shouts back and forth occasionally, but there's a trumpet player actually playing.
There's a trumpet player. There's someone with a large stuffed animal that's actually using their lawn chair, which is funny. I wonder if they'll
keeps somebody from sitting in your spot.
I guess. But yeah, I mean, I was saying earlier, I'm kind of surprised. Both crowds seem smaller than last time, but the take 'em down side just doesn't seem to be here.
I've talked to a few people beforehand who were with, at least one woman who's with Take 'Em Down, and then just also I heard a few other people who were voicing their opinions quite loudly, and they seem to at least represent that side. Whether or not they're with the organization, I don't know. I mean, I would say the more vocal here has been protesters who want them to stay.
So, there's definitely, the first monument came down at the end of April, kind of just before Jazz Fest, and because we were covering Jazz Fest, we actually parked and walked from City Park a lot, and so there were, we kind of passed the people, and there really have been people out here if not at all hours, most days, even if it's one or two people who are pro-monument, who seem to be kind of either protecting the monument or just out here voicing their opinions at the circle. And I believe on Monday, 2 people were hit by paintball pellets.
It was a 9-year-old girl who her mother said was an innocent bystander, and a 41-year-old man who police identified as being a protester.
And I think there were 4 teens who were apprehended quite quickly afterwards. But Beauregard is definitely, it's not out of the way, but it's definitely up here. And everyone kind of knew that Jeff Davis was going to be the second one, so the attention has really been there.
And we've had a couple of questions about thinking that this was one of the monuments that was supposed to stay. But as Kevin Litton reported today on NOLA.com, the opponents pretty much exhausted all of their legal options. There was a question, they raised a question this week, again, about who owned the property that this monument sits on. But judge said in court, I think it was last week now, or earlier this week, that they couldn't really stop any of these monuments coming down. And then today there was actually a press conference with Richard Marksbury, the member of the Monumental Task Committee, who'd initially brought this challenge. He said today that he doesn't think that there is any more challenge. He brought that to court and realized that that was not going to be the way to make this, to stop this monument from coming down. And so I actually was driving home from work today, and I saw the press conference taking place. It was about right after 4 o'clock. There was a crowd over there to the right of where the monument is now. And so to answer the questions that are coming in about that, there are no legal options. It's pretty much been decided that this monument is coming down, clearly.
No, I'm just telling you. For tax. Okay. Yeah, you pointed enough, man. No, I'm good. I got it.
So the cherry picker, it looks like, is moving around to the front of the statue. We've got 1 person, it appears, and the crane is moving around back, so they kind of all just moved around the circle. Last time there were 2 people pretty consistently up in the cherry picker, so I won't be surprised if we see someone else join. So much for a short Facebook Live at the beginning. Very prompt.
Go time.
Very prompt. I'm impressed. So there is, off to the right of the statue, just kind of below Beauregard's foot, there's a flag. And yesterday, I believe, a woman actually climbed the statue and placed that flag up there. And one of our partners, Fox 8, had a Facebook Live of it, so you could watch the whole thing. And it looks like it just has not been removed since then. Are not consistent. So this has been international news, and we're starting to see activity around the country. There are a lot of tourists over there. Yeah. That's my other note. You gotta follow the arrow.
Okay, so we've got 2 people in this cherry picker that's now being raised up toward the statue itself. And so it looks like we've got that crane is to the back, our back left, and then it looks like sort of bulldozer's not the right word for it. I didn't talk to my godson about the proper names for all these things.
Oh, yeah.
He loves these trucks. But there's another truck to the right that looks like it would like lift something, but is not like a cherry picker or a crane.
I don't actually remember seeing that one at the last one, but at Jeff Davis. But I mean, our view was honestly not this direct. This is a much better view than we had last time. We had larger fences in front of us, and we were further across the street, so we have a better view here. As you can see, they're up in that cherry picker, and they are starting to work. So I cannot stress to you enough how prompt and kind of off to a smooth start we are having here. But I do believe, if I had to guess, that vehicle that's kind of just out of the that's just sort of off to the side of the frame here.
To the right, yeah.
Yeah, to the right. I think that will, if I had to guess, would be used to eventually pick the monument up and put it onto the flatbed. But that is purely speculation, and I am no construction vehicle expert over here. Just guessing.
And you might not be able to hear it, but right now, so just underneath the line of the cherry picker, there is somebody using a power drill against the base of that pedestal. So he's a person wearing black on the right-hand side.
So last time, if any of you were tuned in for Jeff Davis, we definitely saw, once they had actually secured the statue with the wraps, it seemed like they were having trouble picking it up, and they eventually went in, and you could see that they actually had a big wrench, and they were clearly taking out these big bolts. So that may be what they're doing now. All of these statues are obviously very well secured, but you can hear. We'll let it run for a sec because you can really hear the drill. The drill, yeah. Thank you. Word. This is great. I am so happy with how this is going. Although I do have to go home and figure out how to do this together, which is terrifying. Aaron was like, just how to do that? How to edit it all together.
Oh, yeah, I've made one before, I think, actually. You can actually do it in Photoshop. Just needs to make a GIF of it.
I'm gonna do it because it's gonna be like. So I'm gonna need to my battery dies, so I'll have to take it and reposition it, so then I'm gonna have to So I'm hoping it's smooth, but I was like, yeah, I'm telling you to Google something at whatever hour of the morning I'm gonna do. And it's just.
And so now these 2 people in the cherry picker, they've got that yellow strap, it looks like, and it looks like they're wrapping it around Beauregard's, I guess, around his body, coming up from his foot. Oh no, I'm sorry. Now, I take all of that back. They're actually measuring Beauregard. That is a bright yellow construction, what's it called? Measuring tape. So they're measuring the height of Beauregard right now.
Which we saw
Not
them
a strap,
do. Yeah.
First mentioned, sorry.
We saw them do that last time. It seemed like they kind of stepped in and did that once they had him secured. So this may have to do. They may not have done the measurements that they did before. It's really hard to tell. But they are out. Looks like measuring to his foot. So they may be trying to do some calculations again about where the center of gravity is the statue is, because once they lift it off, if they don't have it secured really at the center of gravity of the statue, then it could come over. Yeah, it could swing pretty drastically. So they really have to be careful with that.
Someone asked about all the shouting. Those are just protesters behind us. There's, I would say, several dozen at this point. I'm just lined up. We've got a couple flags and signs, indicating how they feel about things. But otherwise, and it's been pretty much the same people shouting the whole time.
She just said that as like a funny thing. She was like, don't.
Which are effectively doing that.
Oh, he's gonna have to do a whole lot of
So Laura is coming as well, right?
Or
We might be overstaffed.
Okay, you're gonna go around, it's gonna be you're going towards,
Last time I
Ooh,
just...
I'm sorry, y'all, that was my bad.
Last time I think it was just adrenaline, and then I got home and I was like...
Alright, yeah, I'll take one. The salt will help.
I went to Walmart today to buy another. I have 2 big phone chargers for these portable ones. And I was like, obviously I need snacks.
I'm excited for you guys, Jen. I'm excited for y'all to do us.
I don't know, I'm getting really excited. Aaron's like, he was the one who tweeted 2 things.
Yeah. I think so. I'm talking to Reed. Reed, come on here.
And we were just like, nope, we can't. Like, so he wanted to move up here, and now he's like, I'm just stressed. Aww. I'm like, I'm so excited. Oh, do you want to talk about that?
Yeah, Julie, so they are definitely going into storage right now. They are being, so all of the previous 2 monuments that have come down, this one and then presumably the monument to Robert E. Lee, will join those in a New Orleans city facility. It's been undisclosed. They're not giving out the location. And then Mayor Mitch Landrieu and his team have said from the beginning that they believe that all these monuments should be placed somewhere, and they use the phrase in proper context. There hasn't really been any definition as to what that really means for their future. They've talked to a couple of different potential facilities. They mentioned Smithsonian for one, Beauvoir, which is the presidential library for Jefferson Davis in Biloxi, Mississippi. That's been mentioned as an option, and the folks at Beauvoir have actually offered to take these monuments off their hands. They'll take any of them, they said. So, it's still just not really clear, though. No decision has really been made about where they're going to go after they're taken down, besides the fact that they'll end up in a city facility for at least some period of time while that is figured out.
see they're kind of moved to the other side now of the statue, and they are.
It looks
They're removing the flag. Yeah. That must have been pretty well in there because it took them a minute.
Yeah, it took them a minute to wrestle that thing out of there. And so now that power drill is on our left side, and you can actually sort of see there's dust coming up from it, some sparks coming up as he's working on whatever it is he's doing. Oh, I see what he's doing. Maybe
Is he cutting all the way around?
it kind of looks like he is,
Through the stone though?
but there's no way that would work.
No.
Okay, I don't know what he's doing, but
It does look
definitely
like
using a power drill.
It does look like fairly intensive use of a power tool on kind of halfway up the base of the structure though, which is interesting because we have obviously been told that the goal is to preserve the whole thing. So one of the police officers is bringing the flag that was on the structure over. I don't know if his goal is to give it back or what, but
Yep.
so a police officer has just walked over with the flag that was put up yesterday on the statue and is giving it back to the pro-monument protesters.
And that move is being applauded.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, officer. Not caught out. Wow, that's a shocker.
And it looks like there's maybe it's just water. Never mind. So it looks like the cherry picker is coming down again. And last time, that happened countless times that they kind of went up, seemed to take measurements or do a bit of work on the statue and then come down. So they may be either consulting people on the ground or just moving on to the next step. But that definitely kind of was part of the process. It's just this, from here, what seems repetitive of going up and coming down. But obviously we're not in there close enough to really be able to tell what the exact moves that they're making are.
So we're still not exactly clear on what that power drill was doing. If you look at images of the Beauregard Monument, there's no plaque on either side where that drill was being used, so it's pretty unclear as to what exactly he's going for in using that drill. And again, we don't really know it's a drill, it just sounds like one. It's a little too far away to actually see what specific tool that is.
Oh, yeah. And I suppose it's possible that there are bolts that are that low down in the base that that may need to be loosened in some way so that it can actually come off of the top. Right, but I think we have no idea. Yeah, there is talk that something will,
Earlier, this space provided. Both sides, they were actually standing on. One was on the left, one was on the right. One person against it. So
So one thing of note, guys, is that this is really, when the first one came down, it became international news, and it's really stayed in the news, obviously, as the city has begun the process of removing all 4 of these statues. And we're starting to see actions around the country where local governments are passing bills so that it's harder to remove these statues. We saw in Charlottesville, was it Charlottesville? Where was the...
Charleston.
I think it was Charlottesville, Virginia, where there was a torch-lit protest at Lee Park with... I'm just grabbing my notebook. Sorry, guys.
Charlottesville.
Yeah, okay, so the alt-right's Richard Spencer led a torch-lit protest at Lee Park in Charlottesville. So there's really starting to be a lot more kind of events and actions around the country that are very related to this and perhaps inspired by what we're seeing happening here.
I can't tell what he's doing.
Yeah, we can't either. We just went around the entire base of it, and there's no plaques there.
Between shooting and editing, transmitting, between emails and...
Ted, I know you're not
I tried to
busy.
shoot a picture.
Oh, you got the battery?
Yeah, I don't know how that...
Going on. This is the third of 4 monuments, Confederate monuments, slated to come down here. I'm going to give you kind of a peek where we are. You can see easy to dark.
So are you?
They brought dinner to police officers there.
No, I'm good. I got one. I can't prepare.
I gotta run home on the web. I'll be back. I live with the rest of the Sure you don't need anything?
No, I'm good. Thanks, though.
So again, bring you back to the scene here. This is barricaded, blocked off to police presence out here. If I was walking away, I just want to talking regarding maintainment of a few hours ago. Stop right back to traffic. Around the area.
Start walking. I don't think I would make it in time. I think so. I just think it
That's what it is. That's the problem.
I'll be back. Do you have anything?
So the smaller vehicle, construction vehicle that we did not know what to call it earlier, is moving around the perimeter, it looks like. be careful because I just placed this here.
I mean, it's kind of like a forklift.
Yeah,
I think it really does. It really does look like a large forklift.
But it has more of like a flat platform, which to me indicates that it would be the thing to pick up the statue. It's moved around to the back, and it looks like they're offloading what look like from here large kind of planks of wood that were sitting on it. It's hard to know what those might be used for, but they're now being placed on the ground kind of behind the flatbed truck. I know that last time they took a really long time to crate up the monument, so that could have to do with that. It also could be if they need to roll a vehicle kind of up closer onto the monument that they want to do as much as possible to not damage the landscaping.
Just about quality, right?
Yeah. No, Facebook. Just tell her it seems like there's less people watching Facebook than I would expect. So what we are referring to generally as a large forklift,
I looked it up online.
Yeah.
Is at least some kind of forklift.
yes, has moved back around the monument towards where it was before, and the driver got out and did not put it in park. Seriously.
There you go. Some monument humor for you guys.
So,
Even a forklift needs to be put in park. And we've got the two people up in the cherry picker. It looks like they've got a flashlight and they're checking out something about the base of the statue.
We are also just off to the side. We're seeing that the police officers who are here are having their dinner delivered. It looks like.
Cops gotta eat.
Yeah, just a detail that you probably can't see in the dark.
But that's what the man walking on the left side was with the giant shopping bag. It's probably filled with sandwiches.
Yeah, between Jazz Fest and all these monuments and the protests that have happened, these
Pulling late hours.
a lot of these officers have worked a lot of overtime, I would imagine. So yeah, I mean, it continues to be a pretty calm scene. I mean, there's a kayaker in the bayou. There's people with wine glasses.
Yeah, because, of course, just to our back right is the big apartment complex, the Esplanade. So we've had a lot of people just sort of milling in and out, coming out of there, checking things out.
Yeah.
There's a couple windows open facing the bayou, taking a look, seeing what's going on.
Yeah. There's not, right across the street from Jeff Davis, there is a bar. So that was perhaps a little bit more of a rambunctious crowd that we had there. And it was much later, so it was really a different scene still for the most part. Pretty friendly with some shouting for sure. And we had a report of a scuffle earlier, but it's very calm now. And what we saw last week with Jeff Davis is that once they really started working on it, the protesters on both sides kind of calmed, and then once the statue was on the ground, all of the pro-monument protesters protesters just departed very calmly and quietly. So now we're seeing the crane is coming to life, which they don't appear to have wrapped any part of the statue as far as we can see from here, so it still will, I imagine, be a long time before they actually put that to use. But
yeah, it seems at this point they're still just making measurements, deciding exactly how they're going to do this thing. You know, by all accounts, it's been moving pretty smoothly. So can only assume that, you know, they've got a plan. Is that the one you just bought?
Yep.
Very good.
I have another one.
There's a button on it.
Yeah, I know. I pressed that a bunch of times.
It's from the black wet.
So much of it.
You want to try that one just with another phone just to see?
Yeah.
Mayor's office and such, or others that participated in the movement of monuments as safe as possible.
Is that?
See those cameras around here.
Charging. So. Something that's wrong with this phone. Interesting. Alright, so they're actually moving this crane in place, but I mean, remember, nothing is that we've seen so far is actually on this monument to allow it to be of much use quite yet.
Yeah. It does. The cherry picker is kind of directly blocked from our vantage point by a stoplight, and they are kind of behind around the side to the back of the statue, so it's a bit hard to see what they're doing.
Dan, to answer the inherent question there, this is being paid for by an anonymous donor who stepped up to pay for these removals.
They're like on the statue, right?
Yeah.
Right? Yeah, yeah. So if you guys are watching on YouTube, stay with us. This may pause for a second. I just need to double check our battery. We should be back in business there. Thanks for bearing with us, guys. I just wanted to check the battery. It's charging now. Oh, that's good. Who knows? It just doesn't like that one, I guess. This phone died. 57? Is it 7? It's full. And like this one will maybe because it's never. This one will last like probably an hour.
So yeah, they're actually on the platform there. It looks like there's nobody in the cherry picker at this point. He either stepped off or jumped over. I don't exactly know how, but he's actually on the pedestal with Beauregard's monument.
Yeah. And we saw that last week at Jeff Davis. There were people with giant wrenches, clearly needing to get rid of some bolts that were securing the statue. So that may be what's happening here. We can zoom in a little bit just to give you guys an idea. So in terms of the process that we're kind of expecting tonight, last time they started about 3:15 in the morning, and it took, I believe, about 2 hours. So for Jeff Davis, it took about 2 hours for it to come down, and it's expected that this one may take a bit longer just because of the scale of the monument itself. But
Although the city hasn't officially said anything about this, I mean, just as a point of reference, at least, Jeff Davis was started at about what time was it?
3 in the morning?
So, and everything got started here by 8:30 or 9, really. So, if they want to have everything cleared for morning commuters, necessarily they were going to have to start earlier, especially if it's going to take a longer amount of time. And there goes the sound of that power drill thing again. And that's on somebody on the right-hand side at the base of the pedestal.
So the crane is coming, kind of moving around a bit, which is interesting. It does seem now, last time our view was pretty obscured, but it does seem like they have more people involved in this process. Last time we could really only see the 2 people in the cherry picker, and here, you can really see there's what seems like 2 people up on the statue, and then potentially 4 who are down at its base, either sort of supervising, or there's 1 person who's working with a power tool at the base of the statue. So the crowd looks like it's grown, even just a little bit on both sides. And then you can tell just because we have this view down the bayou that there are a lot of neighbors who are out watching more from afar, who've kind of gathered with bikes. We saw some kayaks earlier who were checking out the scene. It's definitely still not at the crowd level that we had last week, but a growing one, it seems, right now.
Yeah.
Which is sort of surprising because the last one, didn't really get started until about 2 in the morning.
So you'll start kind of tight on you, and then you'll say...
And just to give you guys an idea of where we are, so last week at Jeff Davis, we were in this very, very small contained press pen that was put into place.
So maybe after
it seemed a bit as an afterthought because they started to move the crowds and then there was really nowhere for the press to go. So we got this very small area to all work in, and this time we are given a lot more space. There are fences kind of separating us from the protesters on all sides, and we really do have a nice view straight on of the monument with no big obstructions. What we're seeing now still looks like there's someone up on the monument, and then there was just someone right around the front of it who seemed to be kind of looking at the lettering on the front.
No, yes, as far as we know. Hey, what is it? Let me know so I can turn this off. Do you miss being in the field?
Well,
like in action. And obviously we'll just have 1 week. Right. I guess you would just kind of...
yeah. So once you stop roll, finish up your night, so you can talk about say and be like and show up
Okay. What if we do you want to maybe so it's just not so rigid, like say something like Sean, I know you've been following what the city's doing closely
set something up
with the property rights.
Yeah.
Is that what you're doing?
Yeah, I do. Doug, are you doing just a one mic?
No, I have another mic over there. We're going to switch over when it gets closer. Oh. Just keep me updated on the town. It's on Facebook Live.
Yeah. We don't have any.
You would be okay because they have the other ones too. Yeah, but I got to get it. Okay. What IP did you say it was? 10.
So if anyone is just joining us by chance, to give you a little recap, we have been out here for almost 2 hours now, but things didn't really start happening until about an hour ago, kind of in between 8:30 and 9 Central Time. We are on the bridge.
call them and ask for 2 numbers to call in.
I'm on 9521. He's on 610.
But did you tell them that?
And then this way.
When you tell me to call them and tell them which number you're going to be in. They won't know. Alright, I'm moving this way.
How are you coming? 60. I have a second. 611. Doug.
Okay. You call me?
So the crane is definitely making moves. It looks like the work kind of around the statue, interestingly enough, I just moved to another vantage point so I could see. The movement has stopped kind of down below, but the strap has not been secured or anything, so they're definitely not ready to move the statue in any way. Yeah, we have.
So strange.
Yeah, but I'm not going to zoom in since we have the yeah, you can't. That's there's two mics. This mic right here, don't see this mic right here is for Aubrey, so there's two mics going.
So it looks like the crane has come down a bit.
I just want to be able to reference it. That way I can say, hey, closer.
There is very kind of minimal activity for us to report on right now because it's tricky to tell what they're doing. It seems like they're getting back into the cherry picker and maybe going back up.
It looks like it slowed down for a minute. You know, after, I can only assume at this point, you know, because we don't have any official word on how this exactly happens, but after doing some of those measurements, maybe they're thinking like, okay, like, you know, what's the plan of attack here? And then taking it from there. So again, this is the third Confederate monument in New Orleans to come down since the obelisk commemorating the Battle of Liberty Place came down in late April. Then, of course, we had Jazz Fest, which sort of slowed things down a bit as, you know, the city's attention was sort of thrown in a different direction for a while, dealing with, you know, that many tourists in town. And so then the next one to come down was Jefferson Davis over on Jeff Davis Parkway. Jeff Davis, of course, is the first and only president of the Confederacy. So that monument has been removed, and now we're here at General P.G.T. Beauregard, who is actually a St. Bernard Parish native. Assuming he comes down tonight, the next one on the docket would be General Robert E. Lee in the in Lee Circle. So our attention will go there next after you know, whatever happens tonight takes place. Do you want to use mine for now?
Do you have an ice?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I'm hitting level 15.
Switch the cord. Just try it.
But now we're... All right, let me call you back. Okay, so again, if you guys are with us on YouTube, just bear with us for 1 second. We are having some battery issues, and so we're just gonna zoom out for 1 second. Yeah. And then I'm gonna zoom back out and let's text Lance. That's fine.
Yeah, unfortunately, our phones are. There's, you know, when they build these media pens, there's no infrastructure, so we've got nothing to plug into. But we have some external battery packs, but plugging them in and dealing with that just takes a moment.
Doug, the crew members out there right now, and get what you're
Thanks for bearing with us, guys. These Facebook Live and YouTube Live feeds are
They take a lot of power.
Yeah.
They take a lot of memory.
but they are really
There's
awesome,
no perfect system.
awesome ways to connect with our audience. So we appreciate you guys watching and sticking to it through our very minor technical difficulties so far. Fingers crossed. So again, we've got someone who is up kind of who's on the monument or sort of in between the monument and the cherry picker. I can see their flashlights. We can hear what sounds like hammering of some sort. Seems like, though, the kind of crew of 6 or 7 that was around has either backed off, though, or gone. There's a few people around the back of the monument right now.
Yeah, for a second there, it sounded like there was either hammering or maybe cranking of some kind of something. It's really hard to tell because it looks like some of the activity at this point is now focusing on the back of the monument. And of course, we cannot see that. So we're gonna just try and keep telling you guys what we're seeing and hearing, and hopefully we'll have a few more answers if they move around from the back.
So just to revisit a few of the things that have happened leading up to this. To revisit a few things that happened coming up to this. On Sunday night, 2 people were shot with paintball guns around the monument. One of them was a 9-year-old girl. They both suffered injuries, but the 4 people, there were 4 teens who were apprehended really quickly afterwards. The monument has been, I've been by this monument a lot because it's really near Jazz Fest, and so we've been up in this area.
Taking the streetcar every day next door to it.
Yeah, exactly. And every time I pass, there's at least one person, usually 2, and sometimes more, who are out with flags around the monument. And then yesterday, a woman actually climbed up onto the base of the monument and placed a flag there, and that stayed there until just
Until
probably
about half an hour ago. There was one of the workers removed that flag and rolled it up and passed it down to an NOPD officer who just walked it over, didn't say a word, took it straight across the sort of media pen, that the little holding area that all the reporters are in, took it straight across and passed it over to some of the monument supporters, and they applauded the move. A few shouts of thanks, things like that. He didn't say anything and just walked right back over to the monument.
And to give you guys an idea of the scene that's kind of unfolding behind us, or lack thereof, it's very calm. There's very little shouting right now.
I counted about 100 to 120-ish people just milling around between so basically like the pen that the media is in to the back of us. There's 2 sets of barricades, and they essentially create like a hallway around that thin strip of neutral ground down Esplanade. And some people have shouted across that area, and we've had a lot of just occasional shouts of people's like political stance on issues, some heckling. There was a man playing trumpet earlier. So it's been sort of a weird crowd. Some neighbors, some pro-monument supporters, some anti-monument people, just sort of facing off at various points, shouting, and then just neighbors walking their dog and seeing what's happening. So
Yeah, there's a boat of about 4 people off to our left that has just been kind of floating there watching for the past hour, and they kind of have the best seats in the house, honestly. There's nothing obstructing them.
Use that.
Like, why would they? There's no way to do that, and that would make sense for the weight, right? Do you have to switch it out? Call her and just do it on my phone, and then because that's one of your other phone, right?
This is my phone. That's
So I have another phone, so I can at least like I don't have Slack on that phone. That's the problem.
Well, we're gonna have to call her. Let me see if I have. Guys, so we're having a bit of a battery issue with our YouTube stream. So if we lose you, we are streaming this on Facebook as well. So if you go to our Facebook page, it's NOLA.com and the times-picayune, we have a Facebook feed there. We will also be back if we lose you. So just keep an eye out. Our technology appears to just be failing us right now. But again, we will definitely be back. If you don't have Facebook, don't worry. We're getting another phone queued up as we speak.
I have it on my work phone, and I'm going to do it with that. I'm just going to download it first.
So as you can see, they've moved the crane now completely in front of the statue. So the base of it is obscured. And they are setting up large kind of pieces of plywood under the wheels of the crane to keep it in place. So now our view is going to be pretty obstructed from here on out until they get moving on the top of the statue, just because the crane is directly in front of us. But like we said earlier, they're still going to need to get back up onto that statue once they do have it, I guess, loose and ready to go. They'll need to secure it with straps and really carefully make sure that they are securing it around its center of gravity so that then when the crane does pick it up from the strap, it doesn't sway or move in any way, because it's a really heavy structure, and if it's off balance, that could lead to some damage.
One of the other cops came up and said something.
So if we lose you guys on YouTube, we are about to start another feed. So
I don't think
we are sorry for the inconvenience, but just do keep an eye out We have another phone queued up, and we're gonna start a new one.
I'm here until, if 4 holds true, I'm here till at least 4 in the morning. So, although Russell, from what the girls at the paper are saying, is an earlier start, maybe tonight.
Should we do? Yeah. Do we want to say or watch as New Orleans P.G.T.
Yeah, New Orleans. I would say maybe New Orleans Confederate Monument. Beauregard.
Hey, bro, what's happening?
They told me to come out here for backup. That's crazy.
All right, guys. So we are going to end this this YouTube feed. Excuse me. For all of you watching on Facebook, stay where you are. Don't go anywhere. This feed is fine. And we will be right back up with a new YouTube feed. Ready? Yep.